Shalom, Israel. This is Yuda Yasharel. I want to talk to y'all about some things that's been going on and for months. And it's time for people to wake up and pay attention to the things that's happening right up under your nose. And this is bearing false witness. I'm not doing this in any defense of my own, but it's basically to show the people how you can ignorantly make this sinful mistake. And a lot of people out there are following two teachers in particular. I'm not going to mention any names. I'm just going to tell the truth about what is happening. So I'm going to start out by reading some things to you. This is concerning bearing false witness, and I'm also going to elaborate on some other issues that's been coming up on my channel concerning the Sabbath. And hopefully I can help clear that up too, because these people that are spreading this blasphemy are seriously in error. So let's get started with the first part. Ye shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. Your neighbor is not the person living next door to you. The neighbor mentioned here is the people of your own tribe or nation. These are your brothers and sisters. This commandment is recorded in Exodus chapter 20, verse 19, and in Deuteronomy chapter 5, verse 20. It is typically understood as a command not to tell lies. Yet the power and rich meaning of this simple commandment reaches far beyond the simple admonition to tell the truth. Although the English translation of the ancient Hebrew text are generally rendered the same in saying not to bear false witness, the two texts are slightly different in their original wording. In Exodus, the word translated as false is a Hebrew word implying intentional falsification or deception. It assumes a deliberate desire to mislead or distort information, presumably for one's own selfish gain or profit. Now, let me kind of clarify that. If you're spreading things that you heard from one side of somebody's mouth and you don't have the other part of that evidence, then how can you make any claims concerning truth? Think about that. That's the same as going to court, being accused of a crime, and you only have one witness and no evidence except for what that one witness said. Shouldn't you first prove or disprove that witness? You have to determine if this witness is being truthful. How can you do that without all the evidence? Okay? So that's bearing false witness. You're going to be convicted of a crime without all the evidence. That's basically what this is. Deuteronomy, on the other hand, uses a different Hebrew word. In this case, false is more correctly understood in terms of empty, shallow, or without power. It's the same word used in the commandment calling us not to make wrongful use of the Most High's name or to never use the Most High's name in vain. Although such empty use of language may contain explicit intent, it can also be a sin of sheer ignorance. Now, this is a very hard truth to fully accept. and an even more challenging one to live out in our lives. Anytime we make broad and pejorative statements, we violate the Most High's commandment. Anytime we share or spread false, incomplete, or distorted information, knowingly or ignorantly, we violate the Most High's commandments. Anytime we cast condemnation upon a whole class of people we do not know, we violate the Most High's commandments. That's very clear. Somebody left here months ago, and they left here spreading a bunch of lies, and all of his followers bought into those lies. Not one of them asked for any proof. They just jumped on board and signed up and walked that path with them. If you follow a liar, you are a liar, and you're breaking the commandment. If you're going to jump into a middle of some type of discrepancy, shouldn't you make sure you got both sides of the story in order for you to determine who's guilty and who's not? You can't just take somebody's word for something without looking into the depth of it. These people make videos about me. I don't bother them. I don't make videos bashing them, putting them down, and calling them names, and swearing about all this stuff that they supposedly have done, but yet has not one time offered any evidence. Just their word. That is sick. So why do they continue to include me on every video that they make when I'm not attacking them in any way, any shape, form, or fashion? I see all the things that they say and about me. I see them. But the fact that I don't retaliate or rebut, it should prove something. It should be showing you something. The Most High did not call us to slander our brother's name or our sister's name. He called us to feed his flock, to bring the word, his truth, to his people, show them the error of their ways. That's what he called us to do. And all I hear is slander, false witness, and false testimonies. That's all I hear, and that's all you hear. This is just crazy. And the fact that they continue to attack me, even though I'm minding my own business, taking care of my own business, telling the scriptures the way I find them, what is wrong with that? What am I doing to them? Nothing. So why are they continually attacking me? Is it so that you can gain popularity or increase your viewers or even be able to get enough viewers so that you can get paid? Is this about money? The only way that you can increase your income is to slander somebody else's name? And that's all I see. Now, I'm not gonna go after them. I don't have to. The Most High will do that for me. My job is to continue to bring the truth. Show my people the error of their ways. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to fight with anybody. I'm not going to debate with anybody. I'm going to bring that word, and you can take it or you can leave it. The Most High did not force anything on any one of us, and I am not going to force it on any one of you. I just bring the message. You do whatever you feel like is good in your eyes. That's completely up to you. But I just want y'all to pay attention to what these people are doing. They're showing you who they are. That's not teaching. That's slander. That's false witness. That is attacking for no reason except for your own gain and profit. That's all that is. I'm not here to do that. The Most High called men to raise up and teach these people the truth. So that's what my wife and I try to do. That's all we do. We don't go after anybody, whether they're right or wrong. And the last time I did that was about tithing. And this person is still hurt behind that 3 years ago. And I proved it with scripture that tithing is not about money, it's about food. I brought the scripture in black and white. And even those of his followers saw it, they still stuck with that false witness, that liar. I even had one of his followers tell me that, yes, I see the scriptures, and yes, it's right, but I've been with this person for over 5 years, and I'm going to have to go with them. What kind of person does that? You see the truth and you ignore it? What does that make you? Now I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to deal with the second issue. The second issue is from this guy, and I'm not going to call his name. I don't think he's intending to hurt anybody. I don't think he's doing this to be spiteful. I believe that he really believes what he believes. But his thought on the Sabbath is that it should only be kept during the daylight hours, and that the Most High did not order evening and morning as the first day. Well, I've taught this before, and I'm going to mention it again. The new moon dictates the Sabbath. The new moon doesn't show up until evening. So how can you keep the Sabbath correctly if you disregard the new moon? That's all one package. That new moon, according to the Most High, is for signs of seasons, days, weeks, months, and years, and for the holy days throughout our generations. So, if you take the new moon out, you take out the evening. So if you're keeping the Sabbath during the day, you've shown up late. You're not supposed to show up late for this day. This is the holiest day of all days. So be on time. Since the new moon comes in the evening, which is said to be the first day of the month and the first day of the week. But remember, it shows up in the evening. That suggests that the day starts in the evening. Evening and the day in the morning was the first day. It's not rocket science. It's simple. So there are some teachers out there that are saying that it's not that way. Well, that is blasphemy. It is going against the Most High. You are reversing his order and using your own vain opinions. What's wrong with taking his word? In Genesis, he said the evening and the morning was the first day. All right, let's pretend the day ends at 6 o'clock in the evening. 6 o'clock in the morning is 12 hours. 6 o'clock that morning to 6 o'clock that evening is another 12 hours. That's 24 hours. All right? So if you keep just the day part as the Sabbath, what happened to the evening? You had to get rid of that. So that is saying that there is no evening, there's just day. You got to be able to see this. It is the evening and the morning were the first day. That includes both evening and morning. They make one day. There's two parts to that day. Yes, daylight is day. But the whole day, that's only part of the day. The other part of the day is the evening, where it all began. When one day closes at sundown, that is the end of that day. So at the end of that day, guess what? There's another day starting. And guess where it starts? In the evening. So you have to put the evening with the morning to make a complete day. I mean, this is so simple. It is so simple. But this is how our people get so confused and so tangled up in these webs of lies, listening to these false teachers. And all these people do is find fault with other teachers in order to make them look good. And it brings more views, it brings more money, and it brings more donations. So what is this about? It has to be about money. If it was about the truth of the Most High, you wouldn't hear that. You would only hear the word of the Most High. People, if you're listening to people that are doing this, you got to stop. That's leading you astray. And they're going into the New Testament. That is all crap. The Most High says specifically, keep my Torah throughout your generations. He never mentioned a new book. But he says in Amos 5:27 that surely I will do nothing lest first I tell my prophets. He didn't tell one prophet that, oh, by the way, I'm going to create a New Testament or a new covenant. So why are you following one? I can clearly see why there's only going to be a few that make it, because people are more behind following traditions of man rather than the Most High's word. And he told us, follow not traditions of man. Keeping the Sabbath in only the daylight time is man's tradition. You have reversed his order. You have no right to do that. If his word in that book is not good enough for you, then you need to write your own book. Basically, that's what you're doing. So, like I said in the beginning, bearing false witness and keeping the right Sabbath. You cannot separate the day. You can't divide it in half. The Most High did not divide it in half. He said the evening and the morning. That includes both. It includes the evening and the morning, which made one day. With that being said, shalom.